My name is David. I'm a college student. I have a sister who's 10 years older than me. She just turned 30 recently, so we're planning to celebrate tonight. I'm early for our meeting time, but I'm at the closest subway station to the restaurant we've booked. When I contact her, she says, "Go ahead and get a table at the restaurant." As I entered the restaurant, a female staff member approached me. "Welcome. Do you have a reservation?" "Oh, yes." After giving my last name, the staff member smiled and said, "You must be with Jessica." She then guided me to a seat at the counter. I waited nervously for my sister to arrive. Then, I heard the door of the restaurant open. Thinking it might be my sister, I looked towards the door. However, it wasn't her, but two men instead. The men had an unpleasant air about them, and the atmosphere in the restaurant suddenly tensed. But the staff, true professionals, greeted them with a smile. "Welcome. Do you have a reservation?" "We didn't bother with any annoying reservations." "What, can't we get in without one?" No, that's not the case at all. However, we do have many reservations today. I can immediately seat you at a table. A table. The counter's obviously available. We want the counter. I'm sorry. The counter seats are reserved for another guest arriving soon. Hey lady, you think it's okay to talk to him like that? Just seat us at the counter. The next guests can take a table. I'm sorry, but we can accommodate that request. If you really want a counter seat, please come another day. Another day? You're being cheeky. Who do you think we are? You don't know the Smith Group, do you? I'm sorry. Regardless of who it is, we can seat anyone at the counter if it's already reserved. Fine, we'll take a table. Hurry up and show us to it. Right this way. I thought to myself, poor staff, having to deal with these troublesome guys. As the men followed the staff member to their table, one of them caught my eye and said, "Hey, what are you looking at?" Unfortunately, our eyes met. "Oh," I thought, quickly looking away, but it was too late. "Hey, don't ignore me." The man started to aggressively confront me. I wanted to speak up, but I was too nervous to get the words out. "Hey, who do you think you are?" I could tell the man was getting irritated. Sorry, Your voice was loud and I managed to squeeze out a response, stuttering as I did. I wanted to let the man know I meant no harm, but it seemed to have the opposite effect on him. "Hey kid, you messing with me? Your way of talking is so annoying. Sorry for being loud, but who do you think belongs in a place like this?" The answer is me. This kind of restaurant isn't for kids like you. It's 100 years too early for you. If you get it, then get out of here. Kids should stick to a fast food place. But I'm meeting my sister here. I can't just leave. I tried to explain to the man, stumbling over my words, but it only seemed to irritate him more. "What? Speak up. I can't understand a thing you're saying." "I'm sorry. I can't leave. I'm meeting my sister here." This time, I tried to speak as clearly and loudly as I could, but the man just glared at me. "Huh? You're meeting your sister here? See, this is why I hate kids who've never faced hardship. Meeting with your sister is something you can do at home. Don't come to places like this. Got it? Now leave. Or can you understand what I'm saying?" "Huh? No, it's not like that." I felt like anything I said would be counted by this man. I was at a loss for what to do. Just then, a female staff member intervened between me and the man. "Enough is enough. If you're going to be a disturbance to other customers, I'll have to ask you to leave." "Hell no. If this kid leaves, we can sit at the counter, right? Just kick him out now, and you stay out of this. I can't just stand by and watch. What you're doing is disrupting our business." The man, raising his voice, seemed to make the staff member abandon her usual polite tone and try to stop him, but he wouldn't stop. Seizing a moment, he swiftly moved in front of me, glaring. "I hate kids like you the most. Kids who live carefree lives, nibbling at their parents' resources, without any hardships." With that, he grabbed the back of my head and pressed my face against the hot griddle in front of me. I couldn't comprehend what was happening, but I felt the intense heat and pain on my face. Hot. Ouch. Ugh. Hana, your bangs are getting singed. Jackson, what are you doing to the kid? Poor thing. Though my face was only pressed against a griddle for a moment, pain shot through it. While I was in agony, the men just laughed. Are you okay? I'll bring something cold right away. Chef. Chef. The female staff's voice rang out, and the chef hurried out from the back. Seeing me in pain, he was flustered. Use this to cool it for now. Should we call an ambulance? He handed me a bag filled with ice. I pressed it to my injury immediately. It hurt a lot, but it wasn't so bad that I couldn't move or needed an ambulance. I'm okay, probably. I think it'll get better if I just cool it down. I managed to reply without moving my face much. Nothing like relieving stress by hurting a kid. The man, far from apologizing, stretched as if he was refreshed. You were pretty irritated to begin with, huh? The other man, seemingly indifferent to my burn, started a conversation with the first. Of course I was irritated. A newbie suddenly shows up and takes my job. Anyone would be irritated. And the boss was giving that guy special treatment. Even you were super annoyed, right? Sure, I was annoyed, but I wouldn't think of venting on some random kid. It's best to vent on whatever's close by in these situations. They continued their conversation, laughing loudly. I couldn't believe how awful they were, but with the pain in my face, I couldn't do anything. I'm so sorry for what's happened. Let's call the police right away. The chef looked worriedly at my face as he spoke. I didn't want to make a big deal out of it, but the men showed no sign of leaving. In fact, they had started to sit at an empty table. With them still there was no way we could celebrate my sister's birthday in peace. And I was concerned about the other customers. Yes, that might be best, to get them to leave quickly. Then I'll make the call, said the chef, about to phone the police, when the door of the restaurant opened again. This time, it was indeed my sister who arrived. She quickly scanned the room upon entering and rushed to me as soon as she saw me. David, what happened to you? What's with this injury? What happened? She looked at me worriedly. No, it's just, I'm sorry for worrying you on your birthday celebration. What are you talking about? That's not important right now. Chef, what's going on here? What happened to my little brother? I'm very sorry, Jessica. It's my fault that things got out of hand. Apologies can wait. Explain the situation to me. Those men over there started bothering your brother and pressed his face against the hot griddle. What? Pressed against a griddle? You're kidding, right? It's true. I witnessed it all. I'm sorry I couldn't stop them. I can't believe this. Hey, you guys. With that, my sister stormed towards the men. Jessica, wait. It's dangerous. Let's leave it to the police. The female staff tried to stop her, but my sister ignored her and continued walking. What do you want? We're trying to enjoy our drinks here. Don't bother us. What did you do to my brother? Huh? Brother? Oh, you're that kid's sister. Too bad you came late. If you were a bit earlier, you could have seen your brother getting heated up. Haha. Jackson, you really have a messed up personality. Don't mess with me. You think you can do that and get away with it. It doesn't matter. Besides, you're pretty cute. Forget the toasted brother. Why don't you drink with us? What? Are you insane? I would never drink with low-level mafia like you. What? Just because I called you cute. Don't get too cocky. We're mafias, but not low-level. Mafias who harm a random student in a restaurant are definitely low-level. No, we're not. The guy over there, Johnson, is rumored to become an underboss soon. Oh really? If someone like this becomes an underboss, I wonder how short on people your gang group must be. We're not short on people. We're the most famous group around here. If you were a mafia, just hearing Johnson and Jackson from the Smith group would have scared you off. Enough. This conversation is pointless. After saying that, my sister returned to us. No need for the police. I'll handle those guys. Everyone can go back to work with ease. Oh, do we have a private room available? Yes, we've kept one available just for you, Jessica. I'll guide you there right now. Great. Come on, David, let's go. Can you walk? Yeah, but is it okay? Just leaving them. Don't worry. They'll soon get what they deserve. What do you mean by that? You'll understand soon. Let's continue this in the private room. I was completely baffled, but as my sister suggested, we moved to the private room. As soon as we got there, my sister took out her phone and started making a call. Hey, do you know Johnson and Jackson? Because of them, my dear brother got a burn on his face. There was a commotion on the other end of the line. but I couldn't make out what they were saying. Don't give me excuses. Get here in 3 minutes. She hung up after saying that. Don't worry, it's all taken care of now. Who did you call? You'll see. Let's order some drinks. David, you could use a drink, right? Yeah, okay. I was curious about what my sister was doing, but I trusted her and waited. Within 10 minutes, 2 unfamiliar men, sweating profusely, entered our private room. Did we make it in time? Not at all. You're late. Sorry. You brought the underboss too. Of course. They need to take responsibility. We're terribly sorry for what our young members have done. Apologize to David, not me. Seriously, it's because of poor leadership that they act this way. We're sorry. Hey sis, who are these people? These are the boss and the underboss of the Smith group. Basically, they're the bosses of those mafia thugs we dealt with earlier. What? The boss and underboss. The young members of our group caused you trouble, and we're truly sorry for that. We failed to supervise properly. I'm truly sorry. Please forgive us. Incredibly, the boss and the underboss came up to me with sincere looks, apologizing. I was in complete shock. No, it's okay. It doesn't hurt much anymore. That can't be true. You have a visible injury on your face. What exactly happened? His face was pressed against a griddle. Jackson did it, but Johnson was just laughing along. Pressed against a griddle. That must have been painful. I'm terribly sorry. We will cover all your medical expenses, of course. If this isn't enough, let us know. Saying this, the boss handed me a stack of cash. That looked like it could be around $10,000, leaving me utterly stunned. Johnson and Jackson. They've gotten way too cocky. We'd like to have them apologize to you properly. Is it all right if we call them here? David, what do you want to do? If you don't want to see their faces again, we can stop here. No, it's fine. I don't mind if they apologize. Then it's settled. Bring them in. Sure. We'll give them a good talking to first. Please wait a moment. With that, the underboss left the private room. By the way, Jessica, how do you know these mafia leaders? You know I'm engaged, right? Yeah, I heard about that, but my fiancé is this man. She pointed at the boss as she said this. The boss, with an apologetic smile, started to introduce himself. David, I'm sorry for meeting you under these circumstances. I was so shocked I couldn't close my mouth. What? Your fiancé is the boss of the Smith group. That's what I've been saying. You're overreacting. How can I not? The boss, really? Did Mom and Dad actually agree to this? Mom and Dad said as long as he makes me happy, they don't mind what his occupation is. Even so, but it's unfortunate that you caused such a bad experience for me before we're even married. It's worrisome for our future. Sorry. I'm really sorry, Jessica. It was all my fault. I never imagined my subordinates would harm your brother. The boss kept apologizing in front of my sister. She totally had him wrapped around her finger. Well, part of it was my fault too. I made David wait here, and I hadn't introduced you two yet. Sorry to interrupt. I brought Johnson and Jackson. Is it okay for them to come in? They're here. Let them in. The boss nodded, and they entered the room. We're sorry, excuse us. Excuse us. Johnson and Jackson looked completely different from before, almost shrinking in stature, and it looked like they'd been ripped up by the underboss, their faces covered in bruises. As soon as they saw the boss, they started pleading, "Boss, please forgive us. We're terribly sorry. We're so sorry." They frantically apologized, but the boss looked at them coldly and said in a low voice, "Apologize to me later. Who do you need to apologize to first?" At his words, Johnson and Jackson came in front of me and my sister. David, we're truly sorry for our rude behavior earlier. I'm ashamed of myself for not stopping Jackson and even joining in the laughter. Jessica, I had no idea you were engaged to the boss, and I apologize for my disrespectful behavior. We're so sorry. To cause injury to David, to be rude to Jessica, to embarrass the underboss, to dishonor the boss. I'm such an idiot. Jackson started crying. Idiot. Don't cry. I'm the one who should be crying. Damn it. Johnson also broke down in tears. The two were wailing, their heads drooped, like children. Your disrespect to us is forgivable. But disrespect to my precious fiancée and her brother isn't something that can be easily forgiven. No matter how much you regret it, it's too late. You did what you did. We understand, whatever you say, we deserve it. Then let me say this. Johnson, Jackson, you are expelled from the group. Expelled. Boss, we're so sorry. Wah. The two were crying so much it was like the world was ending, making me feel sorry for them. You guys just got too carried away. It's a natural consequence, said the underboss, still being cold to them. Feeling a bit sorry for them, I turned to the boss and said, you've given me the treatment cost, and they do seem to be genuinely remorseful, so maybe don't go as far as expelling them. I'd feel somewhat guilty. The boss seemed surprised by my words. David, you're such a kind-hearted kid, he said, moved. Then he got serious again and continued. But David, to me, you're like a brother. If a family member got hurt for no reason, you wouldn't be able to forgive that, right? I feel the same way, and so does Jessica. Especially how bad the injury was. So, I think expulsion is the right punishment. Don't you agree? Sure, when it happened, I was shocked and it still hurts, but if it had been my sister, I would have been really angry. However, this time it's me who got hurt. The injury isn't that bad, and if Johnson and Jackson really regret it and promise to never do it again, I think it's okay to forgive them. The boss pondered for a moment, with an I see. Suddenly, my sister raised her hand. How about this? We give these two a chance to avoid expulsion. They'll serve as our attendants for a while, doing whatever we ask with a smile. If we're satisfied and decide to forgive them, we'll cancel the expulsion. But if we don't feel right about it, they'll be expelled as planned. Let's say 3 months. You may feel differently by then, or they might revert to their old ways over time. That's a great idea. They tend to get carried away easily, so immediate forgiveness might lead to a repeat of such behavior. But if they manage for 3 months, they probably won't slip up so easily. They're actually quite capable when they're not getting ahead of themselves. Their only issue is their attitude. So, David, what do you think? I think that's a good idea. Well, if that's what you think is best, we'll do that, the boss agreed, though he seemed slightly unconvinced, respecting my opinion. Johnson, Jackson, you've heard it. You have a chance now. Dedicate yourselves to David and Jessica for 3 months. If you do well, the expulsion will be cancelled. Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll do anything. David, Jessica, please rely on us. They were crying earlier, but now they were jubilantly cheering, their attitudes switching like children. Then, there was a knock at the door. Excuse me, may I come in? It was the chef and the female staff. We're sorry for the delay. We'd like to prepare dinner for Jessica and her brother. Wow, that's great. Please do. Go ahead. But before that, could I use that griddle? There was actually a griddle embedded in the table of our private room. Of course. Should I heat it up? Yes, please. As hot as possible. Understood. The chef began heating the griddle. I was curious about what the griddle was for, but I was more intrigued by how friendly the boss and the chef seemed to be. Noticing this, my sister began to explain. Those two are close, aren't they? It's not just me who loves this place. He does too. Oh, you two come here often? Yeah. Actually, he's the one that introduced me to this place. He's been a regular for a long time. He always said, I don't want it to get messy, so I never bring guys from the mafia group here. So he must have really hated what happened today. While we were talking, the griddle seemed to have heated up. The chef asked the boss, the griddle is ready, sir. Should I bring something? No, it's fine. I'll call you again later. You can leave us for now. Of course. Please enjoy your time. With that, the chef and the female staff left. Now, Johnson, Jackson, come here. Yes, right away. What do you need, boss? Called by the boss, Johnson and Jackson rushed over to him. The underboss, not being told anything, walked over to stand beside the boss. Johnson will go first. Grab Jackson, will you? Understood. The underboss grabbed Jackson's arm, seemingly aware of what the boss intended to do. The rest of us, not knowing the boss's intention, were curious about what was going to happen. Johnson, come a bit closer. Boss, you can't be. Suddenly, Johnson screamed. I looked at him in alarm. The boss had his head pressed down, face against the hot griddle, grinding it in. The time he was pressed against it seemed much longer than when it happened to me. Finally released by the boss, Johnson was groaning, holding his face. I thought he should feel the same pain. The boss said with a laugh. I was worried if Johnson was okay, but my sister beside me seemed oddly pleased. He definitely deserved that. Serves him right. Now, it's your turn. Jackson is pushed forward by the underboss towards the boss. Realizing what's about to happen, Jackson struggles. Yes, I understand. I know, but give me a moment to prepare. There's no need for that. Saying this, the boss mercilessly presses Jackson's face against a griddle. With Jackson's screams, a scorched smell fills the room. Watching, I thought, was this what it looked like when it happened to me? But then, seeing Jackson writhing in pain after being released, I snapped back to reality. Water. I'll bring some water, I said, and left the private room to ask the female staff for a bucket of water. However, the boss soon came out of the room too, saying, no need for water. We're leaving now. I'm really sorry for causing such a long disturbance. You two enjoy your dinner, and quickly left the restaurant. Johnson and Jackson also left the private room, pulled along by the underboss. We're really sorry about today. From tomorrow, please work these guys hard. Saying this, they also left the restaurant. Left behind, I returned to the private room. Only my sister was there, laughing. Wow, that was quite a scene. It all felt so surreal. I replied, indeed, but I feel satisfied. Let's eat tons. Impressed by my sister's quick switch in mood, we decided to start our much-delayed dinner. From the next day, Johnson and Jackson started coming to my house. They were apparently assigned to alternate days taking care of my sister and me. At first, I wasn't sure what to ask them, but gradually I got used to having them around, and now I'm asking things like, can you drive me to my part-time job, or my PC broke? Can you buy me one with the same specs? They work hard, so my life has become quite comfortable. However, when they go to my sister's house, they seem to face impossible demands. The days with you, David, are the best. I don't want to go to your sister's anymore. They often complain. Having been pushed around by my sister in the past, I could totally relate to their complaints. While sympathizing with them, they began to say things like, I want to be a person like you, David. And I've decided to turn my life around and live honestly. Because they said they aspire to be like me, I've grown fond of them. And recently I feel a sense of friendship developing. Johnson and Jackson have been saying, we want to do things that are helpful to others and are really trying to be better people, so I wholeheartedly support them.